Hello, welcome back to yet another edition of I See It, I Like It, I Want It, I Got It. Before we get started today, I just want to remind you guys that I'm having a giveaway. That's right, you heard that right, a giveaway. Okay, I will put the rules to the giveaway at the very end of the video, but just a little synopsis of the giveaway. By May 31st, if I reach 300 subscribers, one of you will be randomly selected to receive a free gift from me, and it'll be a design piece made for you, and you will also be featured in my next video. So, do it. To apply, all you have to do is follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube, and then comment down below on each video. Each video that you leave a comment on is one entry, so you can have multiple entries if you comment on multiple of my videos. So, good luck. I really want you to win. Yeah. Okay, so today we're making the Mirror Palais dress. Palais? I don't know, I think it's French. This is a beautiful dress from, I believe, the bridal line of the Mirror Palais brand. This dress is nowhere near perfect. I will show you the mistakes that I made so that you can avoid it and get it as perfect as you can. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the fabric is a charmeuse silk blend, and I really like this one. Like, there's a silk and then there's like charmeuse, and the charmeuse like really like waves, so I like this one a lot better. I cut out a front side and a back side to a very big dress in order to get the ruffle effect. I'd say make it as big so that you can take it off and on without needing like a button or a zip or anything. And then after I cut those two pieces out, I French seam them together. Okay, so for the very top neckline, you can see that on the original dress, it's like a V-cut neckline. So what I tried to do was I tried to cut it into a V-cut and then fold it over twice in order to, get the V-cut effect and then hide the raw edges. But I had to put little cuts in it so that it can be able to fold over. My suggestion, instead of doing that, because it'll leave the inside frayed, what I would do is I would get an extra long piece of fabric and put it over it so that it can maintain that V-cut effect. Come here. Look at the star of the show. Hello. Now make sure when you fold it over the second time, you leave a lot of room so that you can put your elastic and your ribbon through it. So I tried it on at first. I kind of just pinned the two sides together so that I can put it on my body. And I reviewed how I want to make it. So all you do to make the little tunnels is you just fold it up. Okay, 1 second. Get out. Anyway, now the black part where the ribbon is, at first I tried to zigzag stitch it with black thread because in the original it is serged, but zigzag stitching and serging is not exactly the same. It just, I don't know, it made it look super tacky and it wasn't super black all the way around. So yeah, but we will get to that. I made my first little tunnel to the dress, and what I liked that I did here is I measured it to the end to make sure that it will line up when I sew those two sides together. Unfortunately, I didn't do that to all the tunnels, so they are a bit off. So my suggestion, do that every time, or like measure how far from the top it is on the left side and then the right side, and make sure that it's matched so that you don't end up like this. So here I was finally done with the tunnels, ready to move on. Then I realized this dress is too short. So what I did was I went and got more fabric and I French seamed it to the end of the dress. Now, what I should have done was I should have made it so that I sew it right on the tip of the tunnel, like this, for example. And then the seam would be covered up by the ribbon that I put right here. I hope that makes sense. So what I could have done is I could have cut the top of a tunnel and then sewed just regular, good sides together, sewed it to the dress, and then the seam would be where I would fold it over. And then eventually when I get there, it would be covered by the ribbon, and then you would have it would look like a continuous dress. But I was on a time crunch. I should have done that. I thought about just bringing it back up and doing what I explained, or like cutting it off, but I just moved on. It doesn't look that bad because it's towards the bottom of the dress and no one's really looking down there, and also it's ruffled, so it's like you really have to be looking for it if you want to see it, you know? So I had a pretty thick ribbon lying around that I used for my other project. So I just cut that in half, and the part that's not frayed yet, I folded it over maybe like 3 centimeters because I wanted it to be thin, as if it's like serge, you know? And then I folded the raw side in again, so that when I sew it to the tunnel of the dress, the raw side is not just peeking out and fraying everywhere. And after that, I made the tunnels even smaller so that my elastic can't just go anywhere it wants. So I have a smaller elastic and then I have a little bit of a larger elastic. The larger one I put at the bottom, and then the smaller one I put at the top. So when sewing the tunnel for the smaller one, I just used the sewing machine foot and followed along the seam that's already there. And then with the other one, I just left just a little bit of room because it's just a little bit bigger, and sewed that all the way down. This part is pretty self-explanatory. You need to use 2 paper clips and put it on the end of the ribbon and the elastic, and then the other end of the ribbon and the elastic. Obviously the ribbon is going to be a lot longer than the elastic. Here I used 70 inches of ribbon, which was a little short for me, and I'll show you towards the end. I did end up using more ribbon. So what I suggest, maybe I would say use 170 inches of ribbon if you want like a long ribbon effect. If not, the 70, I guess it'll do it. Oh, also it depends on your size too, obviously. Using my inside outer, I put that through the hole that I made in the dress and pulled out the ribbon. Now, for the hole, you should definitely do that before you put the elastic in, because it turns out that a lot of the holes that I put in the dress were just out of line and it wasn't straight down the middle. So what you can do is you can poke just a small hole before you put the elastic in, or you can put the elastic in and then maybe use pins to pin it to your body and then cut the holes then and make them as in the middle as possible. I folded in the fabric and sewed down one side so that when I put the zipper there, I can fold it in again and it'll hide the raw edges. And you know, because this silk charmeuse blend, it frays a lot, so you want to make sure that you hide the raw edges as much as possible. Okay, so I folded in the other side and then I sewed both sides together all the way down. What I tried to do is I tried to do that zipper thing that I did in my last video. It didn't work. It should though, it really should, but it didn't. So what I did instead was I don't know how to explain it. I guess you just put the zipper on. You put the zipper on the good side and then you'll fold it back over and then it'll be nice and neat. You'll see. For the straps, I bought like separate straps and I made little loops so that it can hook onto the loops. So technically this can be strapless if you make the elastic up here like small enough so that it could stay on your body. But yeah, this could be a strapless dress if you want it to be. Here, I sewed it as close to the hook as possible because if you look at other clothing that has the hook on it for the strap, you'll realize that it's super close to the hook. And that's just so that it doesn't fall out super easily. Okay, so here is where I realized that it's a little too short for me. So I stretched the string out as much as it can be. Since the string is 70 inches, if I put my measuring tape from end to end, it should be 35 inches because it is halved, right? I measured the elastic in the dress. So say that was 13 inches. There's 26 inches of elastic in the dress, but we're worried about that 13 inches, right? Half of 13 is 6.5. I'm just gonna round up to 7. So I know that I want 7 inches of that string to come out of the dress, which means that the string that's outside of the dress is 10 inches. I want it to be 13.5 because 3.5 is half of 7. And then you'll make sure that you're cutting the right string, because you might cut the string that's already sewed down. You don't want to do that. So making sure you cut the right string, you'll cut it at the end, and then both sides should be the same length. And then you'll just use your inner outer and pull 100. I used 100 inches. I pulled in 100-inch string and tied it up. That's how I made the rest of them super long. The other 3 that I had already cut, the string is really short, and that's just what I'm gonna have to live with. And yeah, that's how I made the Mirror Palais tunnel dress. I think this dress is really beautiful. The designer did an amazing job. And I just want to say, do not get the dupes. Support the creator. You either pay with your money or you pay with your time. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have a good day. We'll smile first, and then see my face.
Okay.
And just like this.
Yeah, we'll just like this.
Just like this. And then let's show our cameras.
Okay.
Like be like.
Yeah.
Sorry, you couldn't see that.
Okay.
And then surprise.
Surprise.
You're gonna kiss me.